All right. Here is the area, and this is where the mountain ended up in. So there is this flat valley-like snow area, so you can see all the mountain peaks at the top, but on this side it quickly falls down into this sort of green hill-like area that is flat enough here for little huts and a dock and a fishing area. And then on the left it starts to get crazy with water falling down, and then a split in the mountain that has dripstone and mossy ceiling, so it's also lit up. And then on this side it goes back into the biome again. So here this has to get like a trapdoor walking path. So this needs to get carved out, and that way you can walk through the mountain in that split until you get to this area, which is way more open. So that's gonna go all the way to the valley and all that stuff. And that's just gonna keep going and going and going. All right, so let's get out of there. So that split where it goes to the normal stuff goes up here, and we want to go behind it and then come out here. So we can go back down to the fishing spot. All right, let's go around it. So there's a shoreline that needs some sort of terraforming, and instead of water over there, there's lava over here where it gets warmer. And it also has that shoreline that should have overhang, but I didn't do that yet. But that's where the taiga village is, and that goes into this sort of thicker forest area. So you can see here where it goes down into the cave. But here's that thicker forest area that then slowly turns into the shoreline again, the side of the hill. And then over here there is the thicker forest that's behind a little wall basically of dirt and stone. So it merges with everything else here, which is perfectly fine. But if you get over this hill, you can see that there's a big dip from almost like a crater style dip into a dark forest. But everywhere you then look, it's like, whoa, I'm in the center of something massive. And that gets less and less and less and turns cold back into taiga again. So there's this top area, and then there is that top area, and then there is the rest of the biomes with hills and water and whatever. There's the lava corner with the village, and then the front of that whole hillside, the mountainside, with the sloping area. So when you're here, it just looks cool, but you don't see the mess from the left, but you have paths that go to it. And then we're gonna go through that. And this overhang is just ever so slightly, so any rain that you're standing here will be in the distance and not where the path is gonna be. And then on this side, when we go over from here, past here, down there, and then some ways to get down there. Anyway, you get to the bottom of that hill where it gets nice and cozy again, the normal world. So I've pulled all of this up in the air in the last couple of versions, and I now have this custom looking mountain that I've extended on today again. So I think that looks really cool. But it doesn't look too busy. Of course, it is busy when you get closer to it. You can tell that there's a lot of mess going on, but as you work on it, you'll clean it up, and terraforming will fix a lot of it. But when you just look at it from a distance, at most you'll have those plateaus that need to be worked on, and then maybe paths that go to the top and stuff that goes over there, and then roads that goes down here, and then a docking area, fishing spot, and then maybe a little bit of like a spot to get to a boat. So this becomes an area, this is an area, that's an area, and then behind the hill is an area, and then there's an area, and then on the side there is an area. So that will keep me busy for the next 5 years. And then when we get those sulfur blocks in 26.2, I was thinking of changing up all of this stuff, and instead of water, this will just be sulfur, and then have elements of that come back to this spot. So it goes from really warm to slowly colder and colder until you have the top here where you can see everything, or you're all the way down there and you can look up. Like if this was a path or something, then you're like, oh, there is a pretty area here, let me explore, and then you start finding things. So I want really wide roads, and I want paths going to those roads. And it'll be fun. But like this, if you're here and you're looking down, it's clean, it's not so messy, even though there is clearly a messy corner here. And from a distance you just see that there is something there, but it's not so intrusive. And that's what I've been working on today, to try and get whatever the mountain shape has turned into to feel more organic and natural and logical with different areas. And there is some repeat. Oh, there is some repeat here that you might recognize. You can tell here that the smoothing out has an effect on that, but I think that if I actually start manually planting trees and build like shoreline willows and other crazy stuff, bigger trees, that sort of stuff starts to disappear. And while I'm working on this, I'm also finding all these little things, and they would be perfect underground roads to different areas. So I also think that I'm gonna keep those and not remove them, because if there is some sort of house on the hill that's carved out, or like some Hobbit style or medieval style build, then it would be nice if it also goes into the mountain and comes out on the other side with a road connecting to the big path. So, or the path connecting to the big road. Anyway, this is what it is now. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm tired. This was a lot of work.